Round 2 of the Digital Entertainment On Demand Super GP Champions Trophy took place at Zwartkops. The arena circuit saw a debut for a couple of new riders in the Super Juniors. Great to see some lady riders there as well, with Jenna Claire Eckhout having a great one, but unfortunately the championship leader had issues in race number 1. Wild William Friend was out, but the battle was still continuing behind him. A great battle with Lance Murray fighting with Tyrese Robert and Luca Coccioni, and that battle raged all race long. At the end of it, Dominic Doyle also came into play, but unfortunately he was left and found wanting, and it was all about Brandon Staffen taking the first victory of the Super Juniors. In the Super 600s, the pole man had been moved right to the back of the field on his brand new R6 Yamaha, and the Near Life team had some work to do. Had to try and fight it out in amongst the Kawasaki's and the Triumphs. And in fact, on lap number 1, the Kawasaki's and Triumphs came together in a big way, with Blaze Baker nearly taking Alan John Fenter out. He ended up on the sideline, and the Russell Wood Muscle and Fitness man had to come right from the back. But the battles continued right the way through as Ricky Lee Weir got in amongst the riders and started to get a little bit out of hand. Rudman was right there as well, but at the front, the two Kawasaki's and the Yamaha of Odendaal were getting away. Adolf Boshoff and Magic Mike White going at it hammer and tongs. And you could see just how hard Odendaal was pushing his new Yamaha. The old Yamaha of that guy, Jesse Boshoff, also getting a little bit out of shape at the top of the hill into Sassel Corner. He eventually got back on track, but was way down. Checkered flag time, and it was all about Odendaal coming across the line to take a debut victory for his new team and the new manufacturer. Into the Super GPs, and a fantastic start from Brent Herron on the day saw him dethrone the king in Super Pole, and Clint Seller, Evil Knievel, had to start from the second spot on the grid. He also battled to get through the field right from the word go, but eventually snuck through out of turn 2 and came ahead. Problems in the background though for a new rider and a new bike for that rider, Garrick Flock. He unfortunately got it all wrong, and on occasions definitely didn't go his way, as you could see, not only at turn 1 but up at the top of the hill as well. Some work to do there for the consortium shipping BMW team. Brent Herron got it all right and came across the line to take his first victory of the season and make it 2 riders that have taken the top podium step for 2015. In the Super Juniors, once again, we kicked off amazing days racing. And as they headed down into turn number 1, once again, William Friend had a big look on the inside, but Brandon Staffen was the man to beat, and he was going to be a difficult man to beat. The two of them got away from the battle for second place and for third place. It started to heat up as Lance Murray was right in it there with Tyrese Robert and Luca Coccioni again. Up on the podium, Brandon Staffen taking the victory, a double on the day. William Friend maintains the lead in the championship, and great to see Tyrese Robert, the new rookie, involved in the championship on the 3rd spot on the podium. Second heat of Super 600s, and we were expecting big things. Looking out for the pocket rocket to come from behind. Pooch was going to be on the Near Life Yamaha, and he was battling to get through the field. His Yamaha stablemate was doing a great job around the outside, but it was Kawasaki's at the front as always. Eventually they started to pick their way through, slowly but surely. Nicole van Arsvegen being one of the early ones on the Triumph that had got demoted by the Yamaha. Eventually he found his way to the front end, and 3 Kawasaki's and that Near Life Yamaha were going to fight it out right till the close of race number 2. One by one, Stephen Odendaal started to pick them off. It was Magic Mike White into turn 2. He had Blaze Baker just ahead of him that he had to try and catch. And we had to wait for a couple of corners before he found his way past Baker. As they got back up to the top of the hill, side-by-side action, and it was Odendaal eventually showing these boys exactly what this new R6 can do. It's been a domination from Kawasaki over the last season and a half, and now that the Yamaha has come to play, the Kawasaki boys have got to go and do their homework for round number 3. The Kawasaki battle, though, wasn't over. And you could see Baker, Boshoff, and White throwing everything and the kitchen sink at those Kawasaki's to try and get their way to the front end. And every single time they went into a corner, it was a change-up in positions. Who was going to take the final 2 podium steps of the day? Extremely close racing. Baker running wide, Boshoff cutting back, Magic Mike sneaking through there on the consortium, shipping Kawasaki, and getting really, really close as they came out of Kenwood Corner. Rubbing plastics, rubbing elbows, and if there were wing mirrors, they would have been flying. Eventually, the checkered flag was going to come out for the second time on the day, and what a great debut for the Near Life Yamaha racing team, with Stephen Odendaal taking a double podium on the day. In second place, Adolf Boshoff, and right on their tail, a despondent Magic Michael White, who got pipped to the line by Blaze Baker. Big celebrations on the podium as Pooch goes from here to Spain to represent South Africa once again, and he looks forward to coming back for round number 3. Big celebrations. And it all started very, very early for the Super GPs as the rain came flying down after the podium ceremony for the Super 600s. A wet race was declared, and a wet race it was going to be all race long. A great start from Levy in the Super M's. He is certainly getting to grips and in amongst those thousands. But it was Lance Isaacs who got the drop and started to pull away right from the word go. Clint Seller didn't seem to have an answer, neither did anybody else behind, although the Yamahas were trying hard. Both Brandon Good and, as you can see, side by side there with his teammate Matthew Scholz, trying to make their way to the front end of the field as quickly as possible. It was Matthew Scholz that did the majority of the work and got up to the front end as we expected. He looked to try and close on Lance Isaacs, but unfortunately Isaacs and problems like that were costing him some time. The back end was stepping out, and he was really finding it difficult. But further back in the Super M's, Temba Kamalo on the Monroe Racing Honda was having a great battle with Levy. Levy eventually going off the circuit and coming on just ahead of a charging Matthew Scholz, who was looking to close in on Lance Isaacs, who'd caught these two riders just before the incident with Levy. At the front end, Temba Kamalo went down in the lead of Super M's. He was pushing just a little bit too hard and didn't realize that Levy had gone down. That left him in the sideline, but he picked the bike up to finish second in the Super M category. Lance Isaacs heads down to his home circuit for round 3 in Cape Town on the 17th of May.